I want to start with a fact. 69% of people search for a local business at least once a month on their phone and on their desktop. And so it raises the question, why aren't more businesses, small businesses online? Why aren't all businesses online? Because if 69% of people are looking to digital marketing or digital tools to find resources, if you're not online, they can't find you. And there's a host of excuses. When we ask business owners, they say, well, digital tools aren't relevant. They're not effective, and I don't really have enough experience. Well, I'm going to address the first two right off the bat. Very simple. When you go looking for a product or service, do you dig out a copy of the Yellow Pages? Probably not. You're looking online, and so are your customers. And the tools that allow you to connect with those customers are, in many cases, better than they've ever been. Now, if you don't have enough experience, that's what this course is designed to do. I was absolutely shocked by this data point that 45% of small businesses don't even have a website. In this day and age, there are so many simple, inexpensive, and even free web building tools that this is just not acceptable. So we're going to start with the assumption that you got to have a website. You've got to be able to ensure that your business can be found online. And if you are running a brick and mortar business, or if your business is geographically constrained, in addition to your website, we're going to talk about your Google My Business page. You need to have a way to stay in touch with new and existing customers. You need to create a plan designed to generate that repeat business, and digital tools can help you do that. You want to encourage people to interact with your business, not just when they're shopping, but interact with you between purchases so you stay top of mind. That's an old school marketing term that means as much today as it did however many years ago it was that I started my marketing career in traditional marketing. And the cool thing about online marketing is that you can measure your results. And you need to take those measures regularly and incorporate that into your process. So let's talk about how. And this is really what today's conversation is going to be about. Talking about how people can find you online, set yourself up for success, and bring all the pieces together. Let's start with, where do your leads come from? I can't tell you how many business owners tell me, well, my leads come word of mouth. I get referrals. That's great. But you know what? These days, word of mouth happens online. These days, when I'm looking for information on a product or a service, I reach out to my friends. I may put up a note on Twitter or post something in our neighborhood Facebook group. Hey, I'm looking for a roofer. Anybody know a good pest control company? Those referrals are happening online. And now more than ever, let's face it, with the pandemic, we have driven even more people online. So what do people find if they go looking for your business? If they type in Google your business name, what do they see? Well, there are a couple of things. Number one, they may see an organic result. Your company showing up right here in the organic search. They may see a paid ad, and they may see your Google My Business listing. If you don't have a Google My Business page, this will just be blank. and you will have missed the opportunity to make this really strong, visible impact. But what if people don't know your business by name? Oh, wait, before I go there, let's stay here. There's a lot of other ways people will see you online as well. They may find reviews. They may find links to your social media. That's right. You have a Facebook page, but you know what? It'll show up in a Google search. And all those tweets and content that you're posting on LinkedIn will be there as well. And if your company is mentioned on somebody else's website, those listings will be there too. So there are lots of ways that you can put content out there with your name and your contact information. So when people go searching, this is what they find. I would recommend that you go to Google and search your company name and look at the top results. And if the things that are showing up first are not your very best presentations, you probably have some work to do on SEO or on social posting to get better content in front of people who have already heard about you. Who looks for you by name? Those are going to be the people who maybe someone said, hey, you need help with your website? Call Lorraine over at RoundPeg. And the first thing they do is they search RoundPeg. But new prospects don't know your name, and they're going to do a search that looks more like this: cheese shops near me. And what comes up? Well, the question is, can they find you? Will they find you in the map? Will they find you in the organic listing? And both of these are critical. The organic listing, different cheese shops in the area, articles about cheese shops, blog posts about cheese shops, and then on top of that, the map. Because if I'm looking for a cheese shop near me, I'm going to check the map listing to make sure that you're there. And then I'm going to click through to the website to see, is this what I'm looking for? I was looking for a cheese shop. These guys were listed. What's the next thing I do? I click on the website to see, is this really what I'm looking for? I may look at your Facebook page. If one of the things that popped up was your Facebook page, I'm going to come over here and take a look at your listing and see, what opinions are people forming? What are they saying about you? And as you present this information, what are the prospective customers seeing and thinking when they see this Facebook page? Is it creating a positive or a negative impression of your business? They're going to want to know, are you paying attention? This is really important. If I'm going to make a purchase, and this is particularly critical in home services and categories where I'm making a large purchase, what do people say about you? I want to read the reviews, and I want to read both the good and the bad. And I want to look at, how do you handle the bad reviews? Everybody's got a bad review or two. That's not the end of the world. The question is, when someone says something negative about you or is less than satisfied, how do you handle it? Because I want to know how you're going to handle it if things don't go perfectly when I hire you. Business is still built one relationship at a time. Even though it's all happening online, it's still a one-to-one transaction for most of us. And so you want to be able to get found and build relationships. So in your digital marketing, you want to show up when people go looking and where they go looking. You want to make it easy for people to spread the word about you. Remember, word of mouth marketing is happening online. So you want to be creating content and sharing information that people can share. And Why do people go to the internet? They go to the internet because they have questions. And so you need to be creating content that answers some of those questions and answers those questions better than your competitors. So, what do you need? Well, it's another chart with 5 pictures on it. The first is you got to have a mobile responsive website. These days, the amount of traffic that's coming to the average website via the phone is typically somewhere between 50 and 70%. And if you do not have a mobile responsive website, if your site doesn't function perfectly on mobile, there's a good chance people are just going to click away and go somewhere else. The second piece that you need is email marketing. This is how you stay in touch with prospects and existing customers. You need to pick a primary social media channel. You do not need to be everywhere, but you got to pick one place that makes sense for your business. You got to make sure that you have current business listings and create a plan for developing and distributing content that does the things I talked about on the previous page, answers frequently asked questions, gives people who know and love you something they can share with others, and establishes your position as a subject matter expert and a go-to person for a particular product or service. So your mobile responsive website is your hub. And with mobile responsive websites, it's not just about making the picture smaller so it fits on the website. It really is about reorganizing the information in a way that matches the device someone is on. When I'm on mobile, it's nice to have pictures, but I want those buttons big and prominent. I don't want a not a silly little nav, but a thin little navigation across the top. I just want this little drop-down button so that when I'm on mobile, if I need to navigate, I can. If your website is more than a few years old, it may not necessarily be as responsive because the expectations as more people have moved to mobile devices have gotten higher and higher about the user experience. We used to design desktop websites and the mobile was an afterthought. These days, you almost have to do it in reverse. You have to create a website that's going to make sense on mobile and then expand to desktop. Your website has several key pages that you really need to think about to make the most of your online marketing. The first is your homepage. This is not where you tell your story. Your homepage is simply a front door or really a direction sign. Used to be, everybody came to your homepage and then they would click to go somewhere else, or they'd read a lot of information on your homepage and they were happy that they came. And it was the first stop along the journey to your website. Today, that's not always the case. Today, a lot of people come to pages inside your website. Maybe you have a link on social media that drives them to a blog post. And when they're done reading, then they come to the homepage. And so you need to think about your homepage like a directional sign in a mall. This isn't a single store where there's one door in and one door out. It's more like a shopping mall that's got 6 or 7 different doors, but no matter which door you come in, when you get inside, there's this sign that says ladies' shoes here, men's glasses there. You need to think about organizing your homepage with lots of jumping off points to the most important and most relevant information. Your about page is where you tell your story, not your homepage. Why? Because when somebody comes to your website, the first thing you have to do is prove to them that they are in the right place, that they have come to a company and a website that can solve their problem. And then once you have convinced them that you can solve their problem, now you have earned the right to tell them a little bit about you, not the other way around. Nobody really cares about your story until they know that you can take care of them. Your contact page should give people several ways to connect. Sure, there should be a form, maybe a phone number. This is a great place to list all your social media links, all the places that people can catch up with you. You want to make sure that there is geographic information on this page. The reason is that if you want to win local search, you have to prove that you're a local company. So clearly defining your address, maybe your location. You don't necessarily have to have a map and directions if you don't want people coming to your store, but that address, that mailing address is important. Use images to tell your story. On your homepage, a great type of image could be a picture of someone happily using your product. It's a great place to showcase some of your successes and give visitors an opportunity to say, that looks like me. I would like to be there. I would like to have that product or service. The About page is a great place for action shots showing your people doing whatever it is you do, taking care of customers. And on the contact page, if you have a building, it's a great place to put a picture of your physical location alongside your address. Let's face it, this is way more interesting than that silly Google map that was on that last page. Okay, number 2, email marketing. This is how you drive prospects to become customers and customers to come back time and time again. You want to make sure that you have a contact submission form, a way for people to sign up for your email newsletter on every page of your website. And you can't just say, hey, join our newsletter. Nope. You have to give people a reason, because let's face it, 10 years ago, the little ding, you've got mail was exciting. Now, when you see that ding or hear that ding, you think, oh, I've got another email. And so if I'm going to sign up for your list and give you an opportunity to send me email, there needs to be something in it for me. Once people sign up for your newsletter, you want to welcome and engage with them pretty quickly. Every new subscriber should get a welcome email that tells them what kind of information you'll be sending them and how often you'll be sending it. And maybe invite them to connect with you on Facebook or Instagram or whatever other social media you use. Using your email as a jumping off point to drive people to your social media or back to your website for more information is a great role for email to play. And then after you've welcomed people, you want to get them into a regular email program where you can send promotions or resources or just news articles and updates. But your customers, prospects, and former clients should hear from you once a month with something that piques their curiosity and maybe is worth sharing. Okay, part 3 is social media. Social media does not need to be overwhelming. You do not need to be everywhere. Well, you should claim your name on all the channels. You do not need to be active everywhere. Why do I say claim the name? Today, for example, well, I'll give you a good example. 10 years ago, I grabbed the Round Peg Pinterest page. I had no idea what I would do with it, but I put some photos on there and then I promptly forgot about it. And about 18 months ago, I happened to sit through a presentation where someone explained to me how I could use Pinterest specifically for my business. Well, the good news was I already owned the Pinterest account for Round Peg. And so nobody else could use it. And when I was ready to, I had it. It was 10 years that that account sat dormant because it didn't necessarily fit my marketing. Another example, when I first got on Twitter, I got on as Round Peg. I used that account as both my personal and my business, but I grabbed Lorraine Ball. When I split the Round Peg account into two pieces, so the Round Peg account was business and the Lorraine Ball account was just my personal, I didn't have to go with Lorraine F. Ball or Lorraine Ball 22 or some other ridiculous thing. I owned Lorraine Ball. And so go ahead, if your business has a name, claim it on every possible channel. But then pick one for your primary use and drive people to your website from that platform. Because again, the goal of social media is not to be good on social media, but to drive traffic to your website. And you want to match both your approach to the social channel to that channel, but you also want to think about who's on that platform and do they fit. Facebook is a place that you're going to compete with friends, family, and news. Facebook is like a backyard barbecue. It is casual, it's informal, and there's a random mixture of all sorts of things on the platform. But if you have a consumer product, whether it's a home service or a retail or restaurant, Facebook is a great place to play because people are talking randomly about companies and businesses like yours on Facebook. LinkedIn is a lot more like a Chamber of Commerce event, and you need to be a little bit more buttoned down. You don't have to do the suit and tie in your cover image, but you should have a professional image of just you, not you and your friend or you and your kid. This is where you come to do business. The content that you share should be a little bit more professional in nature. That doesn't mean it can't be personal or celebratory. Hey, I just got a promotion. Hey, I just won this award. This is me getting this award. Absolutely. All of that is great content for LinkedIn, but it's a little more professional than Facebook. Instagram is a highly visual platform. If you have a brand that has great photos, Instagram is an interesting place to be. It tends to skew a little bit younger with a disproportionate number of their users in the 35 and under category. It's a little harder to use as a traffic driving tool, but there are some add-on tools you can start using that will allow you to make that possible. Twitter is about what's happening now. If your business is more current events, Twitter is a great place to hang out. For example, entertainment venues, conferences, educational programs work very well on Twitter. If your business is aspirational in nature, Pinterest is a really interesting platform. People create Pinterest boards much like they used to maybe create scrapbooks or file folders. I use Pinterest for both business and personal, and my personal Pinterest has a board for every place I want to go. And I collect articles and maps and photographs of things. And when I'm ready to drive up to Maine or maybe someday again fly back to Europe and go tour some of the smaller towns in Italy, I will go to my Pinterest board to see what I've collected. And of course, YouTube is video, but it is both educational and entertaining. And the thing that you have to remember is that YouTube is the second most used search engine platform. Google is number one, and people go to Google when they want to know something. They go to YouTube when they want to know how to do something. Even if you're going to tell the same story, you want to modify it for each channel. On Facebook, you're going to want more photos. On Twitter, you can get away with more just text. You want to use hashtags on Instagram and on Twitter. They're mostly useless on Facebook. LinkedIn is trying to make them a thing. I'm not convinced they are just yet. You have different activity that you can accomplish on social media. And you should really, as you're creating content, think about which of these three objectives you are trying to accomplish. Are you just trying to make people aware of what you do? Are you using the platform to engage in customer service? Or are you trying to get someone to take action and buy? Awareness, general informational posts, customer service, very, very targeted. You want to take those interactions out of the news feed and into direct messaging as quickly as you can. And you want to have a certain number of pieces of content that are specifically buy now, do this, sign up. Because this is really what all the rest of this is about. Another critical piece of your online marketing are your listings and reviews. Google and Facebook probably have the most active reviews for across the board industries. There's Yelp and Angie's List and Houzz where you can have reviews as well. But you need to be actively sending links to your customers asking for these reviews. They give tremendous credibility to your business, and also people are more likely to do business with you when they see, again, those positive reviews. And finally, you need to be creating content. You need to be creating blog posts and status updates, and that content needs to do several things. It needs to be filled with the keywords that you want to be recognized for, that answers those specific questions. You want to be sure that the content includes your company name and builds your online brand. And don't forget the images. We are living in a visual world. And so every post that you write, every article you create, there should be some fun images that go along with it, because this is what's going to appear in the timeline. And remember, whether you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, you are competing with so many other images that yours need to be compelling. And finally, we need to talk about advertising. Social media is not free. I mean, you can post for free, but if you actually want engagement, people to find your information, you need to be ready to pony up and spend a little bit of money. Social ads allow you to target your audience based on demographics and general interest. I know that homeowners in this area are a good target for me. They may or may not be shopping right now, but in general, that's a good target for me. The difference is that Google Ads target people when they are in shopping mode. They are searching for a cheese shop near me. And so typically Google Ads tend to be a lot more expensive per ad or per action than social media. And that's because you're going a little bit wider versus a little bit more targeted. However, that more expensive ad is probably going to get you a more qualified lead. And finally, is it working? As you are setting up your digital marketing program, you need to be putting in place a way to measure the results. It will vary depending on your audience, what the right questions are, but are prospects visiting your website? Are they joining your email list? Are they contacting you? We have a client and we have worked with him. He's one of our longest clients on and on. We've worked with him for 10 years. And this past month, and we've been watching, how many people fill out contact forms, how many people call him from his Google My Business page. And, a year, 2 years ago, we were happy if we were getting 50 and 60 qualified leads every month because he was a good salesman and he would close, let's say, 1 out of 4. So if he got 60 qualified leads, he would get 15 sales. That was great because those sales typically were $5,000 and $6,000. So easily we could identify $90,000, $100,000 in revenue that was being driven by his digital marketing. Well, over the years, we've fine-tuned the message and we have refined what we're doing. And this past month, we had 181 leads. Something like 50 phone calls from Google My Business, 40 contact forms filled out in one place, submissions on other digital properties. 180. If he remains as good at closing those leads, will you do the math? We're talking about 45 sales at $5,000. That's a significant jump for this company. So tracking that, paying attention to what's working so you can adjust your marketing and make it better and better and better over time is absolutely vital to your success. As you're looking at building out content for your digital marketing program, you want to create your website as a resource, a place where people will go when they want information. You want to use other channels to drive people to your website where they can find that information. And always, always, always capture those email addresses to drive new and repeat business. And you want to increase word of mouth. You connect with new prospects. You provide a wow experience as you interact with them. You want to give them an opportunity to stay in touch by signing up for your email. And then engaging with them and driving them back to your business. You also want to drive social visibility after every interaction, giving people an opportunity to share their experiences on social media, increase the exposure of your brand, and give you an opportunity to connect with new prospects and start the cycle all over again. You need to take action. So create that mobile responsive website. Capture those email addresses. Interact and engage on social media. Pay attention to your reviews. Cultivate, ask people to review you and respond when they do. Stay in touch with your email marketing program, amplify with advertising, and put it all to work for your business.